Hey guys, today we're going to do a little demo in the L39 to show basic flight characteristics. I'm trying to make a series of very short videos to show people what the airplane flies like and feels like, people that are interested in buying the airplane. It was hard for me to get a sense of what the L39 was like before I actually took a flight in one, so hopefully this will help. Today we're going to do just basic air work. We're going to do some steep turns, some clean stalls, some dirty stalls. We might set up for an accelerated stall as well. We'll show you how quickly the airplane recovers and how basic this stall feels. The next thing I'd like to demo today is the SFO technique. The SFO technique is something that should be regularly practiced by anyone flying a single-engine jet. And given the crash over the summer of the L39 due to an engine failure, it just highlights the importance of being able to glide to an airport or some other prepared surface. And most of these are done circling with high key at 3,000 feet, low key at 2,000 feet, and then a circling turn to final to land. But we'll try and also get set up for a straight-in SFO and demonstrate the incredible glide capability that the airplane has. The airplane has about a little better than 9-to-1 glide ratio. So you can get to the airport if you have any altitude. So with that, let's go flying.
All right, let's run a checklist and pick up the weather.
Altimeter 29er, 89er. Remarks. Density altitude 2,100.
All right, the clouds look good for what we're doing today. The winds look good. All right, our checklist switches, circuit breakers are all supposed to be in. Switches on. Test. All right, battery is showing a little over 24 volts. 36 volt inverter fail is out. Trim is set 1, 2. Check our fire warning. 1, 2, checks good. Throttle's at the stop. Now we're gonna wait on the canopy. Let's get the Sapphire online and some strobes. The clock. All right, good Sapphire. All right, there's RPM. There's about 23, 24. All right, 410. 420, good cold start. All right, Presh, main gens, inverters on, tip tanks we're gonna leave off. Lights and strobes on, air conditioning on. All right, oil pressure's good. Let's do a vibe check. Vibe check's good. We feel the pressure. And we got 2 good hides. All right, speed brakes, flaps. Flaps are out, speed brakes are out, flaps coming to take off.
Ground.
Okay,
mode.
left brake pressure good, right brake pressure good. We got 2 good hides. And flaps are at takeoff, speed brakes are in. We tested those. Oil temperatures coming up, oil pressure's good. To Greenville, 57 X-ray, Blue Jet, taxi runway 2 for departure north. All right, we can do a little bit of our bleed air check valves here. So that's 74%. We want to look for a rise in N2. So there's that, good. All right, our pre-takeoff checklist. Canopy is locked, the lights out. The trim are set 1 and 2. Altimeters are set, the flaps are indicating takeoff. Speed brakes are in, indicating in. Pressure select is forward, the departure frequency. We're going to go ahead and stay on 22.8, but all right, good fuel pressure. A lot of power today. All right, airspeed times 2. There's 95. All right, good. Gear. All right, we'll do our first turn to the left.
So setting up for a steep turn, you want to have your power set somewhere between 80 and 85%, depending on the temperatures, about 200 knots. And then as you roll in, you want to try and establish about 2¼ degrees nose up. Any less than that, you'll lose altitude pretty quickly. It's very easy in this airplane to have big altitude excursions if you don't really hawk your pitch angle in the steep turn. So I try to nail it somewhere between 2 1/4 and 2.5 degrees.
All right, that's about, I don't know, 60 feet low. Didn't love that. All right, we'll do one immediately to the right. Deep turns, and we'll go ahead and slow down here and show
traffic down to 302 Delta Zero, turn left base runway 2.
a clean departure stall.
To set up for the clean departure stall, what I do is just set the power around 80 to 85%, and I use the speed brakes to slow down. Once we start getting down to about 120 knots, I'll put the boards in and start really pitching the nose up, and I just leave the power around 80. You can increase the power to more, but you get a lot of pitch attitude if you do that.
Through 130 knots.
Usually clean stalls are somewhere around 90. I think today I saw about 86 knots.
I want us to let that nose come up. Little buffet, there's 90 knots. Now we're clean. Little buffet, and wait for it. There's the left wing. All right, full power, speed brakes in, lower the nose. And recover. Good, and since we're slow, I'm gonna go ahead and get the gear out, dirty up. Okay, 3 in the green, flaps are full, speed brakes are in. And we're going to leave this guy at 80%. I think this will be a little lower. Alright, there's buffet. 80 knots, buffet. Keep it coordinated. There's a nose drop. Alright, full power, speed brakes in. Flaps coming to 1.
Columbus County, I got you. Do you want me to extend my downwind, or do you think you'll get there?
Positive rate.
Well, I'm doing 140 right now, 145. Okay, copy. I'm doing.
Wait for that positive rate. All right, there's a positive rate. Gear up. And we're looking for 140 for the flaps. High's good. And there's 140 flaps up. Alright, so here's our clean stall. So we've got the boards in, we've got the power set at 80%, we've got the nose up about 10 degrees. We're just going to keep that nose coming up.
Traffic, rear track, 6, offset mile final, guy, 6,
Stay coordinated, there's 100 knots. About 15 degrees nose up, there's 95. Feel a little buffet, there's 90. Big buffet. Let's try it again. Alright, there it goes. Alright, lower the nose, full power, speed brakes in. Trying to arrest that. Alright, and while we're here, while we're slow, let's go ahead and get configured, and we'll do a fully configured stall. Alright, so we're going to put the power at about 80, and we've got 3 in the green, flaps at full. Alright, coming through 100 knots. 95. There's 90.
97 Tango, 76 Charlie, Columbus. I do have missed approach, I'm going.
There's 80 knots. Little buffet.
On the 45.
Alright, big wing, full power, speed brakes in. Flaps coming to 1.
Gotcha, we'll be looking.
And we're looking for a positive rate. Gear. And we're looking for 140 to get those second notch flaps up. Alright, so we'll go ahead and configure for an SFO now. So what we're going to do is we're going to get outside of Greenville.
You're right in front of it, 76 Charlie, so you're okay.
We'll do the first one as a straight in. Alright, so we're 14 miles. Right, so we're at about a 45 degree beam where we're going to land, but if we're 13 miles, 10,000 feet, we should set it up right now. So let's go to the SFO profile from here. 10,000 feet, 12 miles. That's going to look like 70%, speed brakes out, and we want to set up best glide of 140. All All right, so we're showing about 1,300 feet a minute descent rate here. 8 miles from the field, scored 8,000. I can tell we're high. I'm gonna actually
Columbus County traffic,
give a little bit of speed back here.
Exiting the downwind, departing to the southwest. Columbus County traffic.
So we'll do that just to see if we can burn off some altitude. Now if we got to the field and we were 2,000 feet, that'd be low key for a 180 to land. If we were at 3,000 feet, that'd be high key for a 360 to land. The other thing we could do is drop the gear and flaps early if we're high, but I think we're still 6 miles away. Too far to do that. All right, so we're really gliding pretty well. We're at 6,500 feet, 5.5 miles. So this actually, we might actually end up doing a 360 to land, but let's see what happens when we get close. Pitt Greenville 57 X-ray X-ray. Blue Jet is 4 miles northeast of the field. 5,000. We're going to be doing simulated engine failure landing 20 Pitt Greenville. All right, so we're 2,000 feet above profile. So I'm going to point right at the field now and see if we can get there at 3,000, which would make us. We've also got a crossing runway which we can land on if we needed to. Now we're still a little slow. 2 miles from the field. I actually think this will work out to do a 360. Once we got the seized core profile, I haven't touched the power. I'm getting a hair slow here though. All right, so we're 1,000 feet high. We're 1.5 miles from the field. This is actually going to work out nicely. Pitt Greenville 57 X-ray X-ray. Blue Jet over the field will be left-hand turns landing 20. All right, so since we're 500 feet high, we're not quite over the field yet. We would drop the gear early. We normally drop it at the 270. So we'll go ahead and start our turn here.
Columbus County traffic,
To get the gear down. All right, 1, 2, 3 in the green. All right, we want to be at 2,000 at the 180. And it looks like we're going to be pretty close to that. There's 25. Pitt Greenville, 57 X-ray. Blue Jet is a beam 20, circling the land 20. It's actually a little farther out than I want to be. And slow. We don't want that. All right, so I'm going to wait on the flaps. Keep the turn in toward the field. Now in a real SFO, we wouldn't have half flaps because we'd be on the accumulator. We'd only have full flaps, so I would go full flaps now. We would do that manually. The turn, get level and get straight, a little slow. All right, 3 in the green. Little float. Just like that. All right, flaps to half, speed brakes in full power.
Next, we're going to set up for the SFO profile at 6 miles, 4,500. The cloud deck prevented us from getting any higher today.
All right, so 4,500, we're 6 miles away. Go ahead and set up our SFO profile. We're going to turn 180. We're going to trim for best glide. All right, let's get our speed. All right, so there's 70% speed brakes out.
For traffic here, ventrally Golf uniform.
And we need to get to
on a survey line heading southwestbound.
best glide. All right, so right now we're showing 6.8 miles, 4,000 feet. Pitt Greenville, 57 X-ray, Blue Jet, 5 miles north of the field, straight in 20. All right, 3,000 feet, 5.5 miles. There's a chance. All right, 4 miles, 2,500 feet. All right, so there's 1,700, 2.5 miles. It's going to work out. All right, so we need to get the gear down. We're going to wait until we're 2 miles. There's 2 miles.
TCAD altitude data invalid.
And we're going to wait on our flaps until we know we have the field made. All right, there's full flaps. Start our flare. Okay, full power speed brakes in, flaps to 1.
Here's the page from the flight manual showing the circling SFO. High key at 1,000 meters, basically over the intended point of landing. Low key at 600 meters, or we use 2,000 feet, and then circling to land. We usually put the gear down at the 180, and then flaps at the 90 when you're sure you're going to make the field. Prior to this flight, I had never done a straight-in SFO. They had all been circling. So I was starting off using 1 mile per 1,000 feet on a straight-in, and my intent was to get the gear and flaps down at right around 2 miles based on my altitude and airspeed.
Right there's 6,000 and 6 miles. Pick Greenville, 57 X-Ray, Blue Jet, 6 miles north of the field, 6,000 will be straight in, 20. All right, so let me go ahead and set up our power setting. We're a little outside of 6 miles, but we're a little high, so that works. 6.2 and 6.4, I'll take it. All right, 70% boards, there's our profile for failure. Okay, there's 6,000, 6.2 miles. All right, speed looks good. 5,000, 4 miles. So we're going to use some S-turns here. And we're going to get the gear down. So 3 miles, 4,000 feet. Yeah, we're way fast. Way high. Pick Greenville, 57 X-Ray, Blue Jet, 2.5 mile final, runway 20. Put a little G on here.
I started off doing some S-turns to try and bleed energy. Then I just started doing it with more and more G. I was going really fast at about 3 miles, and I was still about 1,000 feet high. Just couldn't get down. I started putting a lot of G on the airplane with the gear out at the max gear speed of 178, which is well above the SFO profile and way too fast to land.
Pick Greenville, 57 X-Ray, going around 20. Full power speed brakes in, flaps up, gear up. Yeah, you're too high. So 1,000 feet per mile is a little too high.
So there you have it, 1.5 miles per 1,000 feet for a straight in. If you get to the field and you're at 3,000, you can do a 360 like the normal SFO profile. If you get to the field at 2,000 or 1,800 to 2,000, you can do a 180 to land. And if you get to the airfield with 1,000 feet, you're only going to have about 90 degrees of turn before your wheels are on deck. Thanks for watching. Keep the blue side up.